Richard Branson is probably best known as the founder of Virgin and a few of its subsidiaries. However, did you know that he is probably one of the biggest pushers for environmental consciousness? I'll get to that in a second. First, I just want to give you some basic information on one of the greatest leaders of our time. Richard Branson was born on July 18, 1950 in Great Britain. It didn't take long for young Richard to find his entrepreneurial knack. When he was 16, he started Student Magazine while he was enrolled at Stowe School. 4 years later, in 1970, he and his friend Nick Powell started up Virgin, which initially began as a discount records mail order venture. Then in 1972, they opened a recording studio, and thus Virgin Records was born. From there, Branson went on to make the Virgin brand one of the most recognizable in the world. Some of the businesses he has started under the Virgin banner include Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Megastores, Virgin Credit Card, Virgin Trains, and V2 Music. There are plenty more, and the vast majority of them have been very successful. At this point, Richard Branson is at a level 3 of his leadership. With all the successes Branson has had with his many ventures, it has allowed him to pursue other areas of interest for all mankind. He is clearly an example of what Maxwell defines as a level 5 leader, personhood. Branson has his sights on space and deep sea exploration, as well as trying to tackle some of the world's toughest problems. He has transcended above the Virgin brand and is using his wealth and resources to better the planet. In 2007, Sir Richard Branson had a very productive year in philanthropy ventures. He formed the Virgin Green Fund, which is an independent private equity firm that invests capital growth into businesses in the renewable energy and resource efficiency sectors in the US and Europe. Since its inception, it has invested over $450 million. The partners that teamed up with Branson, they have been investing since the late 1990s and have a lot of experience. By partnering with Virgin, they realized that their branding could reach globally and could greatly increase the awareness of potential investors. Branson kept the environmental ball rolling when he teamed up with Al Gore and started the Virgin Earth Challenge. There is a $25 million prize that anyone can win for developing a viable technology that will result in the net removal of anthropogenic atmospheric greenhouse gases. This technology must show these results each year for 10 years without countervailing harmful effects. The challenge will be open for 5 years, which during that time, the panel of judges will meet each year and determine if there was a winning submission from the previous year. If no winner is selected in the 5 years, the judges may decide to roll the prize forward for a period of the same amount. The group acknowledges that there may never be a winner if only a few entries are submitted. To combat this, Branson has asked the government of the international community to match or add to the prize pot. He cites numerous examples of how a cash prize has helped speed the process of innovation throughout history, so it only makes sense to apply it to reduce CO2. All of Virgin's accomplishments and Branson's philanthropy didn't go unnoticed. Towards the end of 2007, the elders tapped him on the shoulder to join them. The elders, brought together by Nelson Mandela, is an independent group of eminent global leaders. Their goal is to offer their collective influence and experience to support peace building, help address major causes of human suffering, and promote the shared interests of humanity. The elders decide collectively where to focus their efforts. Their principles are lofty and can only be met by those who have reached the fifth level of leadership as laid out by Maxwell. Always put the interests of humanity first, act independently, and have no vested interest in the outcome of any issue in which they address. For Sir Richard Branson to be invited into this circle truly says something about the man's character and integrity. Branson truly and effectively demonstrates how to use Law 35 of Green's 48 Laws of Power, master the art of timing. It was no coincidence that Virgin Earth Challenge was rolled out a week after the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change announced its findings that Earth's temperatures could increase by as much as 6.4 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. He used these findings as a catalyst to propel the environmental community into action. The report is the most comprehensive to date from UN agency. It gives detailed catastrophic results from even seemingly small temperature rises. At a rise of 2.4 degrees Celsius, coral reefs around the world would become extinct. 3.4, rainforests turn into deserts. 4.4, polar ice caps melt and severe heat waves across the globe. 5.4, they predicted that sea levels would rise by 5 meters, which would result in tens of millions of climate refugees. This report even solidifies his Virgin Green Fund. If the right company came around, they could foreseeably receive 2 payments from 2 different Branson projects, but both with the same desired outcomes. With this in mind, it really creates a lot of initiative amongst green active companies. Millions of dollars could be funneled into their company to further fund their projects. Sir Richard Branson's interests aren't only in green technology. He has invested a lot of his resources into exploration of the Earth's oceans as well as outer space. His viewpoint is that Earth's landmass has been explored pretty much to its full extent, and the only areas left are the oceans and space. He wants to be the pioneer in bringing both of those to the masses. Branson feels that the oceans and outer space's secrets have been just that for too long. Virgin Galactic was founded in 1999, 3 years after Richard Branson met with Buzz Aldrin, where they discussed new and innovative ways of launching spacecraft. The technology wasn't around for what he wanted to do, which was launch the craft in the air rather than from the ground. So he decided to bide his time and keep a watchful eye in that technology area, and when the opportunity presented itself, he acted. Branson had his team searching for 3 years before they found the right company to partner up with. When they visited Scale Composites to plan the building of their Virgin Atlantic Global Flyer, they found out that the company is competing for the Ansari X Prize by entering an air-launched spacecraft. The project is being funded by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, and the two talk, and they are convinced that this is the tech they've been looking for. On September 2004, Virgin announces that if the test flight is successful, they will finance the building of commercial spacecraft to take thousands into space. They launched the Virgin Galactic website and offer future astronauts to register their interest, and the site crashes due to global enthusiasm and interest. Virgin Galactic announces an agreement in December 2005 with the state of New Mexico for a $200 million state-funded spaceport. Branson had the first successful re-entry flight earlier this year, so Virgin Galactic seems poised to be fully operational in a short time. Because of this, he has shifted his attention to the ocean, where Virgin Oceanic is working on creating a manned submersible to take people over 35,000 feet underwater. To date, there's a craft that has been tested to design to endure the pressure of over 1,000 atmospheres at depth. Sir Richard Branson has continually demonstrated key components of what it takes to be a successful leader. His innovative approach to Virgin has created more than 300 branded companies worldwide and employs approximately 50,000 people in 30 countries. His global branded revenues exceed over $18 billion in 2009. He is continuously on the lookout for new businesses and opportunities.